Hey everybody, how's it going? Recently, one of the most unexpected things just happened within Solana NFT. A notable project founder came out with an announcement that shook up the entire ecosystem. So in today's video, I'm going to tell you everything that you need to know about this project founder's decision, how it's impacted Solana NFTs, and what it means for you as an investor or potential investor in Solana NFTs. Before we get started, I want to say that I'm not a financial advisor and this is not financial advice. All information contained in today's video is for informative purposes only. Now that's out the way, let's jump into it. The news that's shaken up Solana NFTs was made by Frank, the founder of DeGods and yOOts. He recently announced that DeGods and yOOts will be moving off of Solana onto completely new chains. DeGods will be moving to ETH, and yOOts will be moving to Polygon. This is looking to happen Q1 2023. It could be delayed, and knowing Frank, it might be delayed. But that's not an issue. Regardless, it will happen. DeGods moving to ETH wasn't really a huge surprise to anybody. Honestly, people were kind of expecting it. The part of the announcement that really caught people off guard was yOOts deciding to move to Polygon. Not only were people caught off guard about this, they were super outraged about it as well. Before we jump into yOOts and start discussing why people were so surprised and even outraged about it, let's talk about DeGods and why people were kind of expecting this to happen. Frank, with his excellent marketing ability, managed to bring DeGods all the way up from a 4 SOL floor price back in February 2022 to hitting an all-time high 600 SOL floor price back in September 2022. Even now, with the recent news that this collection is moving over to ETH, DeGods floor is continuing to pump and is likely to break all-time highs again. There are a couple reasons that DeGods was able to reach a 600 SOL floor price. First, Frank is an excellent founder. He's probably the best marketer in NFTs that I've ever seen, and because of his excellent marketing skills, he was one of the only NFT founders on Solana able to successfully bring people over from ETH to invest in their project. For those who are not active investors in NFTs or know how the NFT ecosystem works, it might seem like a small feat or something that's not that difficult or cool to be able to bring people from one chain to another. However, this is not the case. It is I'm talking about extremely difficult to convince people to go from ETH to Solana. Like, people on ETH look at Solana like a plague, like it has some type of disease and they don't want to touch it. So to be able to convince people that there is positive projects on Solana and everything just isn't blatant rugs trying to take your money and run is huge. Former top projects and even current top projects have tried to bring over people from ETH to invest in their project and have failed miserably. Even though Frank has successfully managed to bring DeGods to the top of Solana ecosystem and bring in more people from ETH over to Solana, this still isn't enough. The market is an insatiable beast. It needs to be fed constantly. No matter how high your floor price is, the holders want that floor price to go higher and higher and higher. That floor price is 600 SOL, guess what? They're gonna ask Frank, when 800 SOL floor, when 1200, when 2000 SOL floor. It doesn't matter. Frank has to do whatever he can to continue to pump that floor price, because if not, holders are going to sell their DeGods and move on to the next collection. Because Solana is such a new chain, there is less overall liquidity available on Solana than there is on ETH. Because there is significantly less liquidity on the chain, it becomes increasingly difficult for generative collections floor prices to constantly raise. So once you become the #1 project on the ecosystem, it becomes increasingly difficult to make that floor price go higher and higher because of the lack of money that's available on the chain. So essentially, DeGods hit a price ceiling on Solana. I know this might be a little bit abstract, so let's go a bit more into detail. Let's assume DeGods is at a 550 SOL floor, and the value of SOL is $10. This will put the value of one DeGod in USD terms at $5,500. Now let's take that USD value and see how much it would be worth in ETH. Let's assume ETH is currently at $1,200. This means that DeGods would be valued at 4.5 ETH. There are so many collections on ETH that are valued way more than 4.5 ETH. You have Pudgy Penguins, V-Friends, Azuki, Moonbirds, Bored Ape Yacht Club, just to name a few. This shows that there are more people on ETH that have liquidity to purchase a high valued NFT than someone does on Solana. So by moving to ETH, DeGods would essentially get rid of that price ceiling placed on them by Solana. Once DeGods moves over to ETH, they'll drastically raise that price ceiling, if not completely eliminate it. There being a price ceiling on Solana isn't talked about much, but everybody knows it's there. That's why when the announcement came out for that DeGods was transitioning over to ETH, it was super bullish, and the floor price of DeGods automatically pumped. However, that's not the same case with yOOts. That announcement was an extremely bearish event, and post that announcement, we saw the price of yOOts plummet. People were extremely confused about why Frank would decide to move yOOts, a newly minted collection on Solana, over to Polygon. It literally made no sense. Polygon has significantly less users than Solana does. The Polygon NFT ecosystem is also significantly less built out than Solana. So you decided to move the number 2 collection on the chain over to a chain that has less users and less overall volume? Doesn't that make any sense? It doesn't make any sense for the holders. It's like, what are you doing, dude? In addition to that, people felt like it was a betrayal to the ecosystem because he started off here in Solana and the Solana ecosystem helped him get to where he is today. So he wasn't going to leave even yOOTs on the chain. It was just abandoning it altogether, essentially forgetting about where he came from. However, not long after the initial announcement came out that Frank was deciding to move yOOTs to Polygon, an announcement also came out that one of the reasons he's decided to do so was because Polygon actually paid him between $1 to $6 million to do so. In addition to receiving this massive amount of money from the Polygon team, DLabs was going to now be responsible for building the Matic NFT ecosystem out and launching other NFT projects on the chain. Once this information came out, people were a lot more understanding and receptive to Frank's decision to move to Polygon. As stated earlier, a lot of people were outraged by this decision because they said he was abandoning the chain and Frank forgot where he came from. Well, honestly, it's not Frank's job to have loyalty to any one chain. Frank's sole job is to do what's best for the holders of his collection. Well, it's hard to know if taking that money and going over to Matic to build out their ecosystem and taking yOOTs along with them is the right move. It doesn't matter because Frank believes that it is the right move to help his project grow even more. We are in a deep bear market and everybody is struggling for money right now. The several million that Frank received from Polygon will significantly extend his team's runway. While Frank did decide to take this money to move over to Polygon to build out their ecosystem, there's a lot more to it than just that. If he didn't see any hope for the future of the ecosystem, I don't think he would have just taken a large sum of money to do so. He really has a goal of making the DeGods and yOOts brand as big as Bored Ape Yacht Club. There have been many notable companies such as Nike, Adidas, Starbucks, and even Disney that have decided to launch their projects on Polygon. So guess who they're likely to be incubating with? Frank and yOOts. Frank has already confirmed that they're in discussion with some of these NFT projects right now. Working with companies like this could bring so much attention to yOOts. The long-term upside that could be achieved by yOOts moving over to Matic is insane. This is an extremely high-risk play, but it can also come with high reward. As bullish as it does sound long-term, honestly, in the short and mid-term, I'm pretty bearish on it. Matic doesn't have as many active NFT traders as there is on Solana. So individuals who bridge their yOOT over to Matic might have issues trying to sell it. Because there are a lack of traders over on Matic, I think it's going to be extremely difficult for people to sell their yOOTs quickly over on that chain. I also think that it's going to be extremely difficult for yOOTs to maintain its floor price as well. It's going to be difficult for them to maintain their floor price because what happens is that a person floors their NFT, then somebody comes along and floors it lower than that and lower than that and lower than that and keeps going until somebody can quickly come along and buy it. And without a huge pool of traders on that chain, it makes it extremely difficult to quickly sell it. And lastly, there's a lack of NFT infrastructure built out on there. Here on Solana, you can easily go to Sharkify, Frac, PaidSwap, or anything else to potentially take out a loan or sell your yOOT quickly. Over on Matic, their NFT infrastructure isn't as built out. This is just why I think it won't do that well in the short to mid-term, but long-term, it could do extremely well, better than it could do on Solana if Frank's able to execute it. And if anybody can, I'll bet on him. Initially, when Frank made this announcement, it seemed to be bearish for the ecosystem. You're telling me that the number 1 and 2 project are leaving the ecosystem? Man, things didn't look good. However, that wasn't the case. This actually turned out completely bullish, and in typical Frank fashion, he kicked off another mini bull run. The impact on Solana NFTs since Frank's announcement that DeGods and yOOts were leaving the ecosystem has been extremely positive. We saw a significant price increase amongst all the top projects within the ecosystem fighting for that number 1 spot. Not only that, that momentum has trickled down to those mid-tier and low-tier projects as well. A couple projects that I think have the ability to take that number 1 spot are either Tile Robotics or Solana Monkey Business. Both are well-established projects and have a lot of momentum and some of the most known people within Solana NFTs invested in both of them. If you'd like to see me do a video on which project I think will be the next top project on Solana, go ahead and let me know down in the comment section below. This announcement has also caused a lot of those mid-tier projects to pump as well so they can vie for the top spot within the ecosystem. We've seen projects such as Galactic Geckos, Liberty Square, and OK Bears continue to pump off this announcement as well. So I wouldn't leave them out of the running to become one of the top projects either. Solana NFTs is an extremely exciting place to be right now. Frank's announcement to move DeGods to ETH and yOOTs to Matic surprised everyone. While people were super excited about DeGods moving to ETH, yOOTs going to Matic was questionable to say the least. However, once more information came out about why Frank decided to do so, people were understanding. Once again, the project founder's only job is to do what's best for his project, regardless of what chain they do it on. Even though they even seem bearish, the bull market's back on, and it's time to make money while it lasts. I'm super excited about seeing which project is going to take over that #1 spot. After hearing me ramble all this time, now I'd like to hear your thoughts. Do you think it was a smart move for Frank to move DeGods to ETH and yOOTs to Matic? Do you think it's pretty bullish that Frank will be able to work with very notable Web2 brands over on Polygon? Leave the answer to all those questions down in the comment section below. Lastly, don't forget to follow your boy on Twitter, click that subscribe button, and ding that notification bell so you don't miss out on any videos in the future. I appreciate you all taking the time to watch this video today, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.